Hey guys, this is Bear Gaming and welcome back to our channel. Happy Friday everyone! So finally today, we are going to discuss about the much awaited Exos Heroes tier list for 2023. And to be honest guys, it is not easy for me to create this tier list. Actually, it took almost a week because first, this is my first time streaming in the computer and we are trying to adjust the mic setting because I don't know, maybe by this time or in this video you can still hear some echo sounds or feedback sounds. We are still trying to fix this, but I think it's okay. So I proceeded with making this video, and aside from that, it took me quite a while because I tried to review all of the Fatecore's skills, passive and stuff, because by the way guys, for this tier list we are just going to focus for the characters who has a Fatecore. And when it comes to Fatecore, we are only going to discuss the three main Fatecores, which is the Gold Fatecore, Black Fatecore, and the Blue Fatecore. Because these three Fatecores actually has an additional passive, but when it comes to Orange and Red Fatecores, we are not going to include them here because they are just for aesthetic purposes or for designs, and they do not have additional passive skills. So again guys, I just want to explain just a few information so that you are going to know what you are getting here. So first, we only have 4 levels or 4 tiers, and we are going to differentiate the heroes. How should I say this? Anyway, for the S tier, these heroes over here are the strongest. We can say they are popular because almost everyone is using them. And you know, when it comes to popularity, I'm pretty sure in any game, not just in Exos Heroes, if this certain character is popular, definitely there must be a reason behind it. And most likely this hero is very strong. That's why everyone is using him or her. So aside from popularity and damage, damage, when it comes to damage, they do massive damage when it comes to their second skill, burst skill, and probably for the damage dealers, both their first and second skill can do pretty much damage. When it comes to tanks or defense type heroes, they are really tanky. Like, it will be difficult for you to take them down right away or in one hit or one shot. So they have a very high survivability rate. And when it comes to healer, they heal quite a large amount of HP. Probably they do give buffs, additional buffs to the entire team, probably giving barriers and such. So that's why we are going to place these heroes in S tier. Now when it comes to the A tier, for damage dealers like attack type heroes and chaos type heroes, it could be that only one of their skills is producing damage, and probably one of their skills also is just a buffing or debuffing skill. So that's why we place them in A. When it comes to tanks and supports, they are not really that sturdy, I guess, because honestly guys, it's kind of difficult for me to differentiate the heroes because each one of them is quite unique. And it could be that for me, is only in C tier, but for you it could be he or she is in A tier. So guys, I hope if, let's say for your favorite heroes that I place them in a lower level, I hope you will not get upset with me, because this is more on based on my experience playing the game for almost 3 years already. And I also gain knowledge from our guildmates who are very supportive when it comes to giving out advices, and also from other players from other guilds who I happen to chat with. So, you know, we are sharing information when it comes to heroes, and all of these are a collection of information that I got, and that's why we are making this tier list over here. So I hope you won't get upset if ever in your heart there's this S tier hero and I just place them in B or C. So I just want to make sure that we are clear about that. So when it comes to B tier heroes, they have a decent amount of damage when it comes to DPSs. For tanks and supports, I guess they are more on a starter type hero. You know, like there's this when you start playing Exos heroes, if you happen to finish a certain chapter, you are able to unlock these banners wherein you are able to choose which heroes you can get for starters, something like that. So we are just going to place them here in B. And when it comes to the C tier, these heroes, in my opinion, need a lot of more improvements, maybe. Probably because all of their skills, both first skill and second skill, are just buffing and debuffing. So they do not do a lot of damage when it comes to damage dealers. And for tanks and supports, they are really squishy or they are easily killed. So let's start because we have around 90 Fatecores to discuss. And I don't know, I really hope this video won't take too long. So, okay. And also, since I wrote some notes, you probably will hear me flipping pages. That's just my notebook because I just wrote them down and I'm just going to read them. So hopefully you are still going to keep up and understand what I'm going to say. So first, let's talk about Adams. So Adams, I place him in 8 here because his first skill is like increasing speed to himself only. And his second skill is more on the damage dealer. But his second skill is quite strong. So also, aside from that, guys, don't forget that every hero here has an unleash potential board, so everyone gets the chance to get stronger. So if you're going to use Adams, let's say, and if you're not going to fill up his unleash potential board, definitely you won't be able to see the full potential. Just like the word unleash potential, we are unleashing a hero's potential. So don't forget to do that in order for you to see the potential of a hero. And everyone has it. So aside from that, don't forget about the signature force, because if you happen to max out your signature force on a specific nation, definitely the heroes under there will be able to get stronger as well. So that's why. Now for Anastasia, we are going to put her in S tier because she has healing over time or HOT skills. Also, she has a barrier upon healing. And if I remember correctly, she has this passive wherein if all of her allies have their HP or health 50% or below, her turn will be reset, and this only happens one time per battle, and she automatically gains 3 mana. It's like a emergency purposes skill that's going to be activated. And everyone is using her, and she's really tanky as a healer. And she heals quite a lot. That's why we're going to place her in S tier. Now, for Annie, we placed Annie here in the C tier because, gosh, I'm sorry about that, guys. Currently, we don't have background noises for this one. But I think I'm going to add a background noise just to prevent those background noises from appearing. So again, we're going to add a background music. I think that's what I said, right? Not background noise, but adding a background music will minimize the extra noises behind me. So anyway, Black Fatecore Annie, her first skill has an increased speed buff for the entire team, and she has this piercing damage, but I seldom see players using Annie, probably because her damage is not that really high. That's why. So we are just going to place her in C tier. So guys, don't forget also, even if I place heroes in the C tier, it doesn't mean that they are weak or something. I just said that they need some improvements, but they are still good to use because in fact they are still Fatecores. So like I said, every Fatecore is unique in their own way, but you know, you get it. Anyway, the next one is April. We place her in the S tier because aside from a crowd's favorite, she has a barrier whenever she heals. She also has healing over time, and she also increases allies' speed. So we place her there. Next, for Black Fatecore Baelish, Okay, we placed him in B tier. It's because, well, he can purge one buff, and also decrease defense of an ally, and he has piercing damage. It's quite decent if you are starting playing the game, so I happen to use him before. It's really okay. And now when it comes to Baraka, we have Black Fatecore Baraka, Blue Fatecore Baraka, and Gold Fatecore Baraka. That's a total package. One thing in common for Baraka, he has this ability wherein he can purge a mana to a he's a single target character. So if you happen to attack an enemy and he happens to purge one mana, if this is successful, this mana will be distributed to his allies, particularly the back row allies. So that's quite useful. And for whether it's Black Fatecore, Blue Fatecore, or Gold Fatecore, he has that ability because that's in his passive. The difference is for the Awakening Baraka or Awakening, what do you call this? Fatecore team, they has this damage immunity ability wherein if they happen to be hit or receive damage that's more than their health, I think, they will be receiving immunity one time. While for the Blue Fatecore Baraka, this is under the first Guardian Fatecore team. They have this barrier that's based on their HP. And when it comes to Gold Fatecore Baraka, they have this boiling passive under the Sands in Time Fatecore team wherein he can do additional 300% damage using a certain skill, and it activates one time per battle only. But this is quite massive when it comes to his damage. That's why we are going to place him in S tier, and almost everyone under the denomination is using him because he is definitely strong. Next is Fatecore Battery. That's based from the past team or Forgotten Memory team. She's quite useful and very strong even until now. All of her skills are in AoE, first skill and second skill. Her first skill does debuff. This will prevent her enemies from receiving buffs for 3 turns. And also when it comes to her second skill, along with burst, the damage is quite massive. And she's also a favorite because she is really strong. Now, Ben 10. I'm just checking my notes, guys, so please bear with me. They are quite a lot. So for Blue Fatecore Benton, I place him in B tier because he can decrease HP regeneration. That's good. Extra damage if the enemy has a barrier. So if your enemy has shields or barrier, he can produce bigger damage to that. And he can also buff attacks, increase attacks. Now, next we are going to talk about Bernadette. There are 2 types of Bernadette's Fatecore. One is the Black Fatecore and the other one is the Gold Fatecore. And I am going to place the Black Fatecore or the Summer. I'm about to say Paradise, but it's Summer. Oh gosh, I forgot, but it's the Son of the Southland, Summer Fatecore team. I'm going to place her in S tier because she is very, very strong. She also does modification wherein this particular group, Summer Fatecore team, can modify or turn your enemies, okay guys, not allies, enemies into either fish or ducks. So that's quite a huge distraction. And also, aside from that, she has type advantage skill wherein this means that since she is a frost type hero, she has a bigger chance to do massive damage against fire because that's the opposing element of ice. Aside from that, she has this mana overload because oh wait, I'm just also going to put her here because these are both Bernadette's Fatecore. She that's an individual. She has mana overload wherein the more mana your enemy has, the bigger her S2 or skill 2 damage will be. So that's why she is one of the strongest. The difference between this is for the Black Fatecore, again, this is from the Summer Festa. Now I remember. It's the Summer Festa, not Summer Paradise. The Summer Festa Fatecore team, they can modify, again, turn your enemies into fish or ducks. While for the Gold Fatecore Bernadette, she has this in their group. They have increased critical hit and also stun. Just checking my notes again. They can stun your enemies if a Guardian Stone is broken. So that's the difference. Either of the two will be good, but I still prefer the Summer version or Summer Festa Bernadette. Now let's go to, I think this is Bernavas. I almost forgot because technically I'm not really using Bernavas, but she can be under the B tier. Good for starters. It's good. She's a tank. You can see this is the Astrophism Fatecore theme where Bernavas is under, and this is from the, which one is it? The Great Brood. Yes. So the difference of these two is from the Diastrophism theme, they have this passive wherein they have Barrier of Will, and this is like a shield that's based on their HP. It makes them tanky, but for Bernabel, she's not that too tanky compared to Garth or Udum. And the other one is from the Great Brood theme, wherein they have this increased defense and attack. So not much, but it's okay. And she has Tranquility. Also, she has this stun debuffing skill, and she can stun. And also, she has this damage immunity for one time, but not really that good. So that's why she is in B tier. When it comes to Brooke, so we are going to place her here in the A tier because Brooke counters. You know, countering is such an important thing when it comes to damage dealer, because this will give you the chance to further damage an enemy whenever you have this chance to counter. It's really good. Also, she has this lifesteal ability, and she can decrease defense. And also her S2 is really, is it S2 or S1? Which one of them? It produces a huge damage. That's why. Now next we are going to Carrie. So Carrie, Gold Fatecore, I can say she is under the A tier. She has this immortality ability for a few turns. Whenever you do massive damage, you can still see that she survives. For a few turns, she can decrease HP regen. That will prevent, or your party can still heal, but then it will be reduced to 40% when it comes to the healing. And she has Nullify Heal and further decreased HP regen when it comes to her skill 2. So it's pretty a useful character. I can see some carry that are very tanky because of their immortality skill. When it's activated, it takes a few turns for us to defeat her, but it's okay. Based on her skill, it's more on the debuffing side, so that's why not too much of a damage dealer. That's why she's under the A tier. Next is Chatty. Chatty is also in A tier. So she's a Black Fatecore under the Blooming Someday Fatecore team. So this particular Fatecore team increases dodge and attack one time, and if the dodge is successful, this will be removed at the end of the turn. I think it activates several times, but we can put her in A tier. She's really tanky. She grants barrier to the allies based on her defense. I think increases her own defense, and grants a barrier to the allies. And also she has a debuffing skill which causes the enemies to get sleep status attack. Okay, now we go to Corgi. Corgi is under the B tier, Black Fatecore hero. Also, just the same as Chatty, he is under the Blooming Someday Fatecore team. And aside from that, he has debuffing ability, debuffing speed, and debuffing the target's hit. Not really that good, but it's okay for starters. So that's why he's under C. Now next, for Dana, we have two kinds of Fate Core for Dana. One is under the Summer Paradise. Well, that's a different compared to Bernadette. And the other one is, I think it's from the End of Days. So for the End of Days, Dana, we are going to... Wait, I'm just going to double check. Alright. So both of them are under B tier. So first is the Summer Paradise, and the other one is from the End of Days. They are in B tier because they can debuff, nullify buff also. Their debuffing skill is the nullify buff. Don't get mixed up with that. And they can also decrease the dodge of an enemy. So not that too much damage, just decent damage will do. And when it comes to the Black Fate Core, well, actually both of them are... no, one is the Blue Fate Core actually, and the other one is the Black Fate Core. So for the Black Fate Core, they can heal over time if an ally... Sorry. Let me just double check my notes. Okay. For the Black Fate for Dana, if purging is successful, well, whenever your enemy has a barrier, and if the purging or removing of the barrier is successful, oh wait, I'm getting kind of mixed up. But well, yeah, Dana from the End of Days Fate Core team can do purging if an enemy has a barrier, and I think it grants heal over time, I think, if it's successful. And when it comes to the Summer Paradise Dana version or Blue, they can cleanse a debuff and increasing critical hit rate. And both of the two versions of Dana, I mean, have a debuffing skill, which they can nullify buff and they can decrease the amount of dodge. Okay, I kind of got confused there for a while. And now we are going to David Johnson. Now, David Johnson is under the C tier because he's a damage dealer, but not really that impressive when it comes to his damage. He has Nullify Heal at 50% HP or below, and also he has this debuffing skill wherein he can burn when it comes to his first skill, and when it comes to his second skill, he can cleanse one debuff from, I think, himself only. So we are just going to place him in the C tier. Now next we are going to talk about Degas. So Degas is under the Summer Festa, and when it comes to that, he is also useful. We are going to place him in the A tier because he can increase own defense and speed, and also decrease attack, and also produce modification just like Bernadette, because they are under the same Fatecore team. Now next we are going to Diva. Please bear with me, guys. This is my first time doing a tier list, and with the number of heroes we have in Exos Heroes, I cannot memorize all of their skills in just one go, especially for those heroes that I don't use at all. So I'm pretty sure everyone has this feeling. For those heroes that you often use almost every day, therefore you are very familiarized with their skills. But those heroes that you don't use at all, you tend to forget them. That's why I wrote down notes. So please bear with me. When it comes to Diva, I also going to place her in the C tier because although she has bleed when it comes to her first skill and she can also increase her own attack, she also lacks damage. She attacks whenever she is able to defeat an enemy, her attack will be increased. So I don't know, that's not really useful. So what if her damage doesn't go through to the enemy? So her attack won't be increased. So I think there should be a better condition when it comes to her passive. That's why I just place her in C tier. Now Dorka, this is everyone's favorite as well. S tier, definitely, because she can do silence, and also aside from that, her silence is AOE or area of effect, so she can silence all of her enemies when it comes to her first skill, and also it does a debuffing skill which is bleed, and for her second skill it actually gives her the ability to be immune to damage, and it takes quite a while for her to be killed also. So that's why she's going to be in S tier. Next, for Emma, we are going to place her in the A tier. She's a single target DPS. Well, not really that DPS because actually she's up front, but I happened to see someone using her about one time. She really does massive damage, and she can be tanky as well. She can decrease attack, decrease hit, and also when it comes to her second skill, it's a big damage. I think that's about 525% damage. So if you happen to build her in a balanced way, make her more tanky since she's upfront, at the same time have some critical damage on her substats, therefore she can really also do damage even though she's a frontliner. Now, Black Fatecore Guard, I'm going to place him in A tier because for this particular Fatecore team, it's under the Untouchables. They increase critical hit rate, and also stun if one of their allies afflicts or breaks a Guardian Stone of the enemy. So increase hit. I think it's much better for Garth to be more on the tanky side since Garth is a defense type hero. So this particular Black Fatecore of Garth is in A tier only, but when it comes to her, or he has this gender bend. So when it comes to Black Fatecore, he's a guy, but for her Blue Fatecore and her Gold Fatecore, he's a girl. So I place his Blue Fatecore and Gold Fatecore in the S tier because when it comes to the Gold Fatecore, she has this passive barrier of heal. So this is based on her HP. This makes her quite tanky. And aside from that, where is it? Aside from that, she can also decrease, well, as a general, Garth can really decrease defense of the target and a barrier based on her HP when it comes to the second skill. But for this particular Fatecore team, they can increase critical hit rate for himself. And I don't know, maybe because he's a defense type hero, he doesn't need critical. Well, it's based only for me. I don't know about you guys. So I think Blue Fatecore Garth and Gold Fatecore Garth are more useful. And when it comes to Blue Fatecore Garth, this is under the Great Brune Fatecore team. And well, she can debuff, decrease damage, and has the barrier based on HP. And also, this particular team has this special ability wherein they can increase the defense and attack of their group. That's why defense is also important. So that's why that's my decision. When it comes to Garland, I placed him in B tier. He can do decent amount of damage, but he's more on his damage are both AoE or air of effect, which means he can damage all of the enemies. Excuse me guys, just checking something. Okay, he can damage enemies. He has this lifesteal ability also. Anyway, so he has lifesteal. I don't know why I keep on saying lifestyle. It's supposed to be lifesteal. And under this Fatecore team, the Summer Paradise cleanses debuff and increases critical rate of all allies. But his damage dealing skills are not that too massive, so that's why he's there. Next one, Summer Festa. Again. Oh wait, what did I press? What happened? Okay. Next one, Summer Festa Glenn. So he's not the same Fatecore of Garland. Glenn is with Degas and with Bernard. And I'm sure guys, if you need further information for every Fatecore team here in this list, you can always check them in game. There's this Fatecore button inside the squadron. Just tap it and you can see the list of Fatecores there is. So you can further check out their skills. So what we are discussing here are just all summarized. And I just want to make this video fast so that it won't reach up to 1 hour. Hopefully, so that it won't bore you. So again, we placed Glenn over here. Is one of my favorite heroes, to be honest. But aside from that, he can stun enemies. And at the same time, the modification skill, which is very useful. Aside from that, he can decrease the attack of the attacker. Let's say someone attacks him. So whenever that happens, he can decrease the defense of that attacker. And also he can do provoke. And the AoE second skill that can do modification. Now next is Hekin. We are just going to place him in the B tier again. When it comes to B tier, decent amount of damage. He has burn. That's good. And piercing damage as well. But not that really massive when it comes to the amount of damage that he can give. Next is Hinder. So for Hinder, we placed him in B tier also. Black Fatecore under the Phantom of Wonderland Fatecore team, and under this team actually the enemy will be receiving increased damage if they did a counter. Let's say Hinder attacks a specific enemy, and when that enemy counters attack, they will be decreasing damage on their next turn. That's towards the enemy. So just in B, because his damage dealing skills are not that really massive as well. And then we have Black Fatecore Aiden. This is under the Idol Fatecore team. So we're just going to place him in C. Though Aiden can purge a buff, and he can also debuff enemies, reducing their speed and increasing their crit rate, but not really that of a damage dealer. And in fact, Aiden is a Chaos type healer. Chaos type healer. Chaos type hero, I mean. But, you know, Chaos type hero and attack type hero are more of a damage dealer, but when it comes to heroes that don't have that much of a damage, that's not really that useful, so it's just there. But he's a blue Fatecore hero. He can increase or buff heroes under the Greenland Nation, so I think we are going to get him for that purpose. Now next, Summer Festa Iris. We're going to place her in 8 here. She's good. Gold Fatecore. She has barrier. She can cleanse. And she can increase the effect resist of the entire team, which is a good buffer. And she can also debuff, producing stun and modification to one enemy. So again, 8 here because not all of her skills are producing damage, or when it comes to support, healing, and though Iris is a support type character, she doesn't heal. But oh well, before I forget, there are two kinds of support type characters, one that can heal and one who gives buffs and debuffs. So Iris is on the latter part, so that's why it's just an A, because if you're going to place her in a team and if you want a healer, you have to put another healer because Iris doesn't heal. Now next, for Jean, she's under the Blooming Someday Fatecore team. He can increase his dodge and attack 1 time per battle. It's actually good when it comes to damage dealing, but I was just surprised to see that he doesn't do AoE damage anymore. I think it's just one. I think he became a single target DPS. But though he can debuff an enemy and also increases allies speed, so it will do just in A, somewhere there. When it comes to Gold Fatecore Gina, I'm going to place her in A also. Her damage is not good as they were before. Well, I'm not going to talk about the Season 5 update because currently we are waiting for Season 7, so that was years ago and everyone is already moved on, because technically before the Season 5 update, everyone has a different set of passive and skills. It was quite different, and when it comes to G9, she was totally strong before. I could probably place her in S tier before, but now she's just going to be in A tier. She has immunity for 10 turns that will make her annoying. She will be standing there in your enemy's team for quite some time on receiving damage. She has poison, silence, and also she can purge 1 buff. So not that much of a damage dealer, but more on there to distract you. That's why she's there. Next is Summer Paradise Jin. He's in 8 here. Decent amount of damage it will do, and he can stealth. And once he's in stealth mode, he can further produce piercing damage. So that only happens when in stealth, not automatically. But he has this passive wherein he can turn into stealth mode. But when it comes to damage dealing, it's good, it's strong, but not way too much. Now, when it comes to Gold Fatecore Jin, under the Banga family, I can also place him in 8 here. So this is from the Summer Paradise, and this is from the Gold Fatecore Banga. Okay, Black Fatecore, Summer Paradise, Gold Fatecore Banga. And the difference is, for the Banga, they can decrease damage received. That's their special passive under that Fatecore team. And when it comes to Summer Festa, they can cleanse the buff and increase critical rate of all allies. So those are the difference, but still just in 8 here. Now for John Dong, I'm just going to place him in 8 here as well. He is a Gold Fatecore. He can have a immunity passive for a few turns. He can increase defense and debuff, produce provoke, and also he can do extra damage based on his defense. Next one is Karin. I am just going to place her somewhere in the A tier. So you can see we have a lot of heroes under the A tier because, again, actually every one of them has their unique skills. So more on the average side. So Karin can resurrect, that's good. Her first skill actually can decrease attack of an enemy, that's a single target, but when it comes to her second skill, it can heal and resurrect, that's based on her HP. Now next, for Kaya, he's a blue Fatecore. I'm going to place her in S tier because both of her skills can heal everyone in the team. Both are AoE heal, and of course, this healing of Kaya is quite big, or large amount of HP can be healed. Also, she can increase own defense, and she can also reduce the damage that you can receive. She's under the black and white Fatecore team, and this Fatecore team increases defense based on HP. Yeah. Now when it comes to Kirina is going to be placed in S tier. Her second skill does massive damage, if you only know. Well, I just checked. Her damage is quite big. It's 525% damage, and she has this boiling under, because wait, I'm going to rephrase that. She has this boiling passive which produces 300% extra damage one time per battle because she is under the Fatecore team of Baraka, which is Sands in Time. So that's quite large. Now next is Kruger. He's in B tier. You know, not really that tanky. He's a defense type hero, black Fatecore team under the Phantom of Wonderland. Not really that tanky. He can do debuffing skill, which is stun, and he can also provoke enemies. Now next, for Kyla. Now, I'm pretty sure I placed him somewhere below in C. This character doesn't have too much damage. You know, I'm using Kyla for almost a year already. I placed a decent set of gears, but I think that he really lacks damage. That's why he's just in C tier. But he can increase own attack, and also he can bleed and do lifesteal damage. That's why. Okay, so for Lang, he's in B as well. He can do sleep. That's a status attack debuffing skill, and also he can increase the speed of allies, but not really that massive damage. It will do, not really, but you know, so-so. B tier is like so-so. You can use him for starters, but for end gamers, you can go for A tier and S tier, especially S tier. So now we go to Legger. Legger, under the A tier, I just found out when I was doing my research and taking down notes. Where is Legger? She's under A tier. She can increase the effect resist of all allies, and then she grants a barrier and resurrect to all, but she uses a percentage of her HP in order for her to resurrect, and she can also debuff skill, but she doesn't have any heal. So I think that's not really that good, because I don't know, because before she used to heal, but that was removed for some reason which I don't know. So I'm just going to place her in A because she can resurrect. And I happen to encounter some players using Legger. She tends to be really tanky and annoying. So that's why she's there at A. Now, we have a few heroes, I guess. We are in the middle. So for Lepin, we are going to place Lepin in A. She can also resurrect. Oh wait, sorry, that's before. Now she doesn't resurrect, but she heals and grants a barrier for 12 turns. So 12 turns is quite a lot unless your enemy casts the buffing skill on you. But it's good, she can still heal, and she gives out healing over time. Again, her resurrection skill is gone. If she still has a resurrection skill, I'm probably going to place her in A tier, for sure. Now, we are going to Lakenstein. So for Lakenstein, you are going to place him in A tier. It's because he is also under the Suns in Time Fatecore team. There's this 300% extra damage, which is the passive boiling. And also, he can increase resistance to himself and also does extra damage based on his HP. He's actually a defense type character, but if you're going to build him more on the damage dealing side, I think he can really produce bigger damage. That's why we are going to place him in A. Now, for Leafy, is under the Idol Fatecore team, but the Idol Fatecore team is actually divided into two. This is actually a unique Fatecore team because their special passive is divided by two. One is under Genai, which is the Superstar, and for April, which is another Gold Fatecore under the Idol team, which is the Millennial Star. So Leafy is under April. Of course, she's her sister. I don't know, I just want to make that connection. So for Leafy, wait. I'm just looking for my notes again. For Leafy, we are going to place her in B tier. Not really that good when it comes to damage dealer. It's decent, it's okay. And she can debuff, speed, and also bind. When it comes to bind, I think the definition of binding status effect is that they cannot produce mana. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Now, when it comes to Luke, he's under the Banga Fatecore theme, so they can decrease the damage received. Luke can be placed somewhere in the B tier. Okay, he can do extra damage based on his defense and increase defense and critical resistance of himself. So I don't know, just B tier. Maybe if his increased buff of increasing critical resistance would be for everyone, probably I'm going to place him in A tier. But since it's only for himself, it's just in B. Now next, Luna. Gold Fatecore Luna. That's in S tier, one of the annoying healers that you can encounter in 7 Stunner. She can resurrect based on buff, and also she can do stun, and if ever you have high effect resist, it will still penetrate because she has this ignore effect resist skill. So even though you have very high resistance for effect resist, it will still penetrate. And she can also heal, has healing over time. That's why she's under S tier. Now when it comes to Lyungen, he has 2 Black Fatecore. One is under the Diastrophism Fatecore team, and they have this Barrier of Will passive, while the other one is under the Untouchable, which is increasing her their critical whenever they break their Guardian Stone. So we are going to place first. Okay, both of them are under B. Decent amount of damage it will do, but not that enough, and they are not really that tanky. They are actually it's he or she. And for Diastrophism, he's a girl, while in the Untouchable he's a man. So both of them. I'm separating the two characters. So this character Lyungen is just under B. Not that really tanky, but it will do. So next for Maggie, we are going to place her she's under the first Guardian Fatecore, and we are going to place her in the 8th tier. She has type advantage, so if ever you have characters from the nature, since she's a fire element, her damage against nature element characters will be bigger. Type advantage, don't forget that. And also, both of her skills are in AoE or area of effect. She can do burn, and I don't know, there's something with Maggie that she has a lot of mana. Probably because of the team, but whenever I encounter Maggie, she can always do a lot of damage. So, not really that good, but very decent. Gosh, I'm starting to stutter again. Oh, anyway, let's continue. When it comes to Mahar, we can put him in the Diastrophism version. We can put him in B, and also this one from the I forgot the favorite name, but it's Journey of the Fate. We can place him, both Diastrophism and Journey of the Fate, in B. He's quite good, really, for starters, but I seldom see people use Mahar. But when it comes to Mahar, he can provoke enemies and also have reflect ability, or this reflect shield to himself only. So that's all I can say. When it comes to Melissa, her Black Fatecore and Blue Fatecore, I'm just going to place her in C. It's because she has increased attack and barrier that is HP based, and she can debuff. But when it comes to, I'm actually quite confused if, well, she cannot heal really. Both of her Fate cores cannot heal, even though she's a support type hero. So it's just based on buff and debuff. That's why I place her here. I don't see a lot of people using her. It's quite rare. Maybe because of that. I don't, it seems that players are trying to understand, where does she really belong? Does she want to heal, but she doesn't? Or does she want to increase or give buffs or debuff, but she doesn't want to also? No, that's just my description, so sorry about that. When it comes to Minea, I'm going to Gold Faith for Minea. I'm going to place her in B. Decent damage, does silence, can also decrease attack of all enemies, and also increase effect resist of all allies. More on the buffing and debuffing side as well, but her damage is already good, so that's why she's there. So next we are going to Monica, also in B. Black Fatecore under the Idol Fatecore theme. She can purge and also debuff, decreasing speed, and can stun enemies. But when it comes to damage dealing, not really that good. Morris under the Banga team, Banga Fatecore team. I think he's the only Banga Fatecore character that I'm going to put in S, because his first skill, he does increase the attack of a team, the entire team, and also when it comes to his second skill, it does a massive amount of damage. That's why I really like using him as well. She has this surprise damage wherein if he does his second skill, for sure your enemy is going to get killed in one hit. So that's why he's there. When it comes to Nemeris, I'm going to place him Nemeris. I'm going to place him in 8 here. He does have a decent amount of damage, and aside from that, he can increase attack and hit of the enemies. And also, he has this ability wherein if he uses his second skill and if your enemy gets killed, even if they have the buff to resurrect, it won't happen because they dissipate upon dying or killed. And I think I forgot to place his blue Fatecore over here. So his blue Fatecore is going to be somewhere over here as well. And remember guys, this is not arranged in order because we are just picking them from here on the most lower left portion of the screen. So we are just putting them in the tier list. So this is not arranged whatever, but instead just focus on the different tier list. So that's where they belong. And there's no more ranking which one is the best among the S tier, something like that. There's no more like that. Oh my gosh, we are reaching 1 hour, so I better hurry. So Naomi, Gold Fatecore Naomi, we are going to place him on S tier. He's very tanky, difficult to defeat, and also he can decrease. Wait. Okay. He has sheer health, also damage immunity, also tranquility. I mean, and also he can debuff. That's a single target attack, but he often stuns an enemy. I don't know. Maybe I encounter Neomis that have high effect hit. That's why I get debuff easily or stun easily. Gosh, I'm getting mixed up with the words. A lot of buff, debuff, increase, decrease. But I'm pretty sure you are going to get it. But if you can't understand me what I'm saying, just look at the picture or video. You can see where this specific Fatecore belongs, and I'm sure you are going to get it. Now, when it comes to Nero, I'm just going to place him in C. You know what? Lack of damage, just debuffing, and stuff. For Nika, another sibling of Leafy and April, I'm going to place her somewhere in B. Decent amount of damage. Oh wait, where is she? Oh, where is her photo? Okay, found it. She can debuff, producing stun and also bleed, but damage wise not really that good. When it comes to Otard, I'm going to place Otard somewhere in B also. Before, she used to produce really massive damage, but now not really that much. But she can purge one buff from an enemy and decrease defense in 10 turns, so that's quite good. So she's under B. When it comes to Prithiof, this is the wrong icon because this should be the Gold Fatecore one, and I happen to place the Fated version only. So let's just pretend that's the Gold version. Okay, sorry about that. I placed the wrong icon. So we are just going to put the Gold Fatecore of Prithiof in A. He can transfer debuff and also counters, and also he can do silence, bleed, and decrease attack. So that's a very status effect focused tank, which is also good. Just make him tanky. When it comes to Rakel, definitely Blue Fatecore Rakel and Gold Fatecore Rakel deserves the S tier because he's one of the best single target DPSs. The difference of these two is for the Blue Fatecore, he's under the past Fatecore team. This Fatecore team actually, I'm just going to double check just to make sure. So this Fatecore team is HP based when it comes to their attack. So the higher the HP, the more attack they can give. But when it comes to the Awakening Rakel version, Gold Fatecore, they can have damage immunity. So it's up to you. Both of them are really nice to use. He does massive damage when it comes to his first skill and second skill. And he's also everyone's favorite, especially for the ones who are using characters under the Lenome team. And also he's the general. That's why. When it comes to Ramsey, I am going to put him in C tier both of the Fatecore, both Black Fatecore teams. Oh wait, okay, that's there. Why C? Because his damage is not that really good. More on his skill is more on debuffing. Whether it's under the first guardian, well, the difference between two is for this one, the other Black Faker team for the past. I think this is the past or awakening. I mean, they have damage immunity, but when it comes to the gold, not the gold, because I'm seeing his clothes in gold. Black Faker, I mean, for the first guardian, this passive of I'm lost of words. What I'm trying to say is the passive of this Faker team is based on their HP, which grants a barrier. So it's up to you which one do you use, but he's really a decent character if you're starting the game. Now Reed Marie. I'm going to place her in B tier. Oh wait, where is she? No, what happened? No, I'm looking for Reed Marie. Where did I put her? Oh, oh wait. Okay, it's correct. She's in B tier. Supposed to be here. So she has a barrier to self, decreased defense for 18 turns. That's quite big. Oh wait. This did the tier just change orders? Oh yeah. Okay. For a minute, I thought I just broke the entire tier list. Okay, we're going to going to go back to Reed Marie. She can do piercing damage to all of the enemies. A decent amount of damage will do. She's okay. When it comes to Rera, Gold Fatecore Rera or Blue Fatecore Rera, it's always in S tier. She's one of the best heroes in the game also. And Gold Fatecore Rera, Blue Fatecore Rera, their common skill is that, just going to check again, they have silence, extra damage that based on their enemy's mana. So the higher the mana your enemy has, the more damage she can produce when it comes to her second skill. And when it comes to the Gold Fatecore again, the Fatecore team is, they have this passive wherein it's based on their HP when it comes to the barrier. And when it comes to Blooming Someday, they have increased dodge and attack. That's 1 time per battle. And if you ask me, do choose Gold Fatecore Rera over the Blue Fatecore because, you know, barrier and stuff is really useful. Now next, we are going to Rienor. I'm going to place her in S tier. She's also one of the strongest character here. And also the annoying one because she often does double team whenever an ally with the highest attack, or let's say we are going to talk about the enemy. Let's say an enemy has a Rienor in their team and their enemy also has the highest attacker. So whenever that highest attacker enemy will attack you, Rienor will also follow. So double team is always triggered when it comes to Rienor. And aside from that, she can also have immunity, also deals debuffing skill, which is burn, and has a huge damage when it comes to her second skill. Now when it comes to Sabrina, the Blue Fatecore Sabrina, which is under the Idol, and also the one from, well, first we are going to talk about under Dorcas team, which is Silent Eyes. This is under B tier. Well, for the Blue Fatecore Sabrina, I am just going to place her in the C tier. The difference is for the Blue Fatecore Sabrina, although I'm not going to talk about the effects of the Blue Fatecore here, because when it comes to Blue Fatecore Sabrina, she increases the attack She gives buffs to attack type heroes. So that's quite useful. But when it comes to skill wise, she, well. Let me check my notes. She can do counter, purge, and decrease defense, and also burn. That's for both, whether it's the Black Fatecore or Blue Fatecore. The difference is, for the Blue Fatecore, their passive under this Fatecore team purges 1 debuff, while for the Silent Eyes, they can do silence, which I prefer this one. But when it comes to damage dealing, that's not too high, but it's already decent. That's why she's just in B tier when it comes to the Black Fatecore, and C tier when it comes to the Blue Fatecore. Now for Scarlet, under the Summer Festa Fatecore theme, we are going to place her in A tier. Both of her skills are in AoE. She can do modification, also afflict burn. Well, damage is not that really high, but her S2 is quite massive when it comes to damage dealing, so that's already good. Okay, that's why she's there. Okay, we have a few more heroes left, so we just passed an R, so we are just going to make this quite fast. Now, Gold Faker Schmid, I'm going to place him in A. He has skills that can do lifesteal damage, and also he can counter based on the damage reduction skill which he has, and also dissipates. The enemy dissipates whenever he kills an enemy. So if ever they have buffs of lifesteal, I resurrect whenever they can resurrect, this will prevent them from doing that. Schmid, okay. And also from the Black and White Fatecore, increases defense based on HP regen. So that's their Fatecore team passive. When it comes to Shio, okay, for Shio, we are going to place her both Black Fatecore team and Blue Fatecore team in A tier. The basic skills, the entire skill set of Showa, she can do HOE, Resurrection, and she can cleanse 1 debuff. So that's good, that's decent. And for the Blue Fatecore team, this is under the Secret Invasion, so grants heal over time when ally attacks. Is it correct? Healing over time if ally attacks, and produces debuff, so that will grant HOT or healing over time. And for the Black and White, purges barrier if an ally has it, so that's good. Now next we are going to go for Shell. I hope I'm still making sense, guys. I've been talking for an hour already. So we are going to go for C, not really that good. Increases attack speed of 1 ally only, and she can decrease hit of hero with the highest attack. That's why not really that massive when it comes to damage dealing, and not really that tanky since she is a support type hero. So that's why we place her in C. Now Shufraken, one of the most popular tanks here. Oh wait, where is Shufraken? No, where did I place him? He should be in S here. One of the popular heroes also. And aside from that, he can purge. He's a Gold Fatecore, very tanky. And if there is still a debuff, if I remember correctly, if there is a debuff after purging, he can do bind to a certain enemy. So a lot of CC, very tanky. That's why he's in S. It takes quite a while for you to defeat a Shufraken, especially when Shufraken is built properly. That's why he's there. Now for Talia, another S tier character, because she really heals a lot. She can also decrease an enemy's dodge. And decrease attack as well. And she's under the Blooming Someday Fatecore team, so that's why. Ulum. We are going to place Ulum in S tier, whether it's the Great Brune Fatecore team, the black one, and the gold one. We are going to place her in S tier. One of the best tanks or defense character heroes also. She's really tanky. She has this special ability called Share Health. That's her specialty. And she can break random Guardian Stones. For Yao, Summer Yao, we are going to put her in C tier. She can increase attack and hit of all, does piercing damage and modification, but her damage is not that really good. Not really that big. So when it comes to Corgi, isn't it we discussed about Corgi? We placed Corgi in B tier a while ago. Did we just miss him? He should be here in B. Because he's letter C. We are actually doing the characters in alphabetical order, and I happen to, I don't know, mix him up. But he's supposed to be he's supposed to be here. I'm keeping already stuttering. To tell you guys honestly, it's quite hard to make this tier list. Especially this is my first time in my YouTube channel, so I hope you're giving me the chance. You're not going to hate me for this one. I keep on stuttering. Sometimes I get mixed up with my words, but I'm really trying my best, so please be kind. So he's just in B, okay. He has debuffing speed and he can decrease hit also, and he has a certain amount of damage. It will do. We have last three. Now Zarian. For our Zarian, let me just double check. Where is Zarian? For Zarian, we are still going to place her in C. Okay. Black Fatecore increases speed and attack of all allies and decreases hit of enemy. That's good, but when it comes to damage dealing, not that really impressive. Okay, so when it comes to Awaken Zeon, we are going to place him in... Oh, wait. Letter D. Okay, sticky fingers. Alright, he's there. When it comes to Zeon, we are going to put him Awaken Zeon, okay? Awaken Zeon and Zeon is different when it comes to units, but he's just the same character on the story. But when it comes to units, he's two different characters. So Awaken Zeon, I'm going to place him there. S tier because he gains mana, has a debuffing skill, he can burn, he can even bind, and also extra damage piercing if enemy is in front row. And I think both of his first skill and second skill is quite strong. That's why he's there in S tier. And last one, for our Zeon, the original Zeon, under the first Guardian, we are still going to place him in S tier. One of the strongest hero there is. He's also the protagonist of the entire story. And what else? He has type advantage. Okay, so since he's a fire hero, fire element hero, he can produce bigger damage when it comes to nature type heroes. He also has burn, and he can debuff with bind. So guys, we are finished with our tier list. I hope you agree with what I'm deciding here. I mean, this is my first time making this one, no takes. This is my first take, and I'm really struggling. I'm pretty sure you can observe that when it comes to my voice. Whoa, that was overwhelming, but I'm happy we were able to do it. So you can see on the S tier, especially for the newbies, if you are looking for Fatecores that you want to build or build a team around a certain Fatecore, you can go for Anastasia, April, the different Fate Cores of Baraka, Bathory, 2 Fate Cores of Bernadette, then there's Dorka, the blue and gold Fate Core of Garth, there's blue Fate Core Kaya, then Kirina, Luna, Morris, there's Naomi, the gender bent Naomi, there's Oracle, 2 Fate Cores of Rera, gold and blue, Rhianor, Shufraken, Talia, 2 Fate Cores of Ulum, Awakened Zeon, and Original Zeon. So, those are the S tier heroes, and you can see the A tier heroes: Adams, Brooke, Kerry, Chatty, Emma, the Black Fate Core of Garth, Glenn, Degas, Iris, Jean, Genai, and Jean, the other Jean, Ginn. Black Fate Core and Blue Fate Core. There's John Dong, Karin, Leger, Lepin, Lakenstein, Memeris, Black Fate Core and Blue Fate Core. Sorry, I wasn't able to add the Blue Fate Core icon of Nemeris. He's also under here. Okay, Black and Blue Fate Core of Nemeris. Also, another one, Gold Fate Core Prithiof. But I'm sorry, I placed the fated version of Prithiof instead of the gold version. But I'm sure you're able to get Gold Fate Core of Prithiof, Maggie, Scarlet, Schmidt, and 2 Fate Cores of Showa. That's for A tier. And again, for S tier, we placed our heroes there, but because when it comes to DPSs, they produce a lot of damage, really massive damage. When it comes to healers, they heal quite a lot. And when it comes to tanks or defense type heroes, they are really tanky. And what else? Tanky. And when it comes to A tier heroes, I'm just laughing at myself because I'm blabbering too much and I'm trying to squeeze my brains out in explaining each and every character. And again, this is hard work. And also, A tier heroes, decent amount of damage when it comes to damage dealers, some buffing or debuffing when it comes to their other skills. When it comes to tanky, they are tanky, good for start-up characters too. When it comes to support type heroes, some of them can heal, some cannot, some can do buffing and debuffing. Okay. And when it comes to B tier heroes, these are heroes that are good for starters because these are easier to get. I don't know, maybe their drop rate is much higher compared to the other ones above. So I'm pretty sure if ever you are going to pull, especially when it comes to free Fate Core or random free Fate Core tickets, these are the heroes you can see a lot. And some of them here, somewhere. When it comes to C tier heroes, these heroes need a lot of improvements because when it comes to buffing and debuffing, okay, they can do that. But when it comes to damage dealers, they are not really that damaging. When it comes to tanky, not really that tough. And when it comes to support type heroes, not really that supportive. But still, I'm not saying that these heroes under the C tier are weak, okay? Just a little disclaimer. So it doesn't mean that those heroes below here are useless. So that's what I'm trying to say. So you can still, they are still useful in some way. So guys, I hope I'm able to provide you with the latest tier list. I might not be fluent in English, so I cannot speak that properly, straightfully. But still, I hope I was able to give you the best information there is for the latest tier list of Exos heroes this year, 2023. And please do not forget to subscribe to my Twitch channel and also for my YouTube channel as well, where you can see all of my other Exos heroes content and other games as well. And if you have any suggestions or violent reactions when it comes to this tier list I made, still, please be kind. I'm quite tired now. Speaking straightly for 1 hour, it's like I'm giving a report at school or at work. I just remember the days. Anyway, yeah, that will be all for today. I'm still going to add a background music to this video, and I hope by the time you're going to listen to this, it already has a background music, and I hope everything works, because also this is my first time streaming in the computer. So hooray for me. So I hope I'll be able to stream more in the computer for the next succeeding videos. And thank you guys for your support. Thank you for all your comments. I do read them one by one, and I do answer them as soon as I can. Thank you so much. And it really motivates me. I know we have a small crowd at the moment, but I'm still looking forward for our crowd to grow, and our beer gaming family will be growing in the future. So thank you guys so much. And still, I'm kind of nervous because I don't know what your reaction will be for my tier list, and I hope this will really help you a lot, especially for the new players. And I hope for the veteran players like our guildmates, I hope you are going to agree with me on this list. So this is Beer Gaming. Have a nice day everyone, and I hope you are going to have a great weekend. See you on my next video.